Now we have learned that how to do indexing, right? Because you have a vector and then you want to select element from the vector. Like, say that we have three ways to do indexing, right? Actually, syntax-wise, you want to do index, you use this angle basket, right? But within the angle basket, you need an index, right? Okay, it's kind of like a selection, right? So you can index by position. Then this I should be will be a integer vector, right? And you can select by name if the element has a name, right? Then the I will be a character vector, right? And you can also select by condition, right? And this is the most useful way to do selection, because you can actually specify a condition, right? Select the white male, for example. You want to select the customer who buy from you for more than 3 times, right? You want to, right? Specify. You can actually combine all of this condition together to make a composite condition, right? And the result would be a logical vector, right? And that logical vector will have the same length, have the same length with this resulting vector, and then you can apply it. So you can select by condition, right? It's very useful, the most useful way to do conditioning. So let's do some exercise. Okay, let's do some exercise. So, for example, if we have a vector defined it in this way, right? Okay. And then I want you to like use index and mathematical function to answer the following question. Okay. The first question I already answered for you. Okay. List the name of the males, because you want to list the name, right? So you actually want to list the name, right? So you actually want to select the names, right? From this name vector, right? Okay. So to answer this question, you need to know. You need to solve 2 things, right? First thing is from which vector you want to do the selection, right? And then the second thing is which element you want to select from that vector, right? Okay. So if we want to know the name, then we talking about selecting from this name vector, right? Now I'm talking to you that I want to select the name of male. So there's a logical index here, right? This is male is actually a logical vector, right? And it's true whenever it is male, right? So I directly use Ismail as an index on the name vector, then I'll see the name of the males, right? Isn't it? Okay. So as long as you can use conditional index correctly, you can already use only by using indexing you can already answer a lot of business question already, right? Okay. For example, this is the name of all of our male customers. Okay. The second one is that if I want to list the name of those who higher than 180, then what should I do? Okay, I'll leave it for your homework assignment. How about that? Okay? So I want you to finish all of this. Sometimes my notebook is not. Sometimes I'll give this symbol, which means that it is the quiz that I want you to do it either in the class or as a homework assignment. Okay? So in this case, I want you to kind of do the rest of the exercise. Okay? So if you have questions in doing this, you can go to the Actually, so far we have two collab sessions. Okay, the first one is tomorrow. It's Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's in 1032, in room 1032. Okay, and the other one is Wednesday, the same time, 6:30 p.m. Okay, and it will be in room 3038. Okay. In case you need help, right? We have two sessions for you. The first session is Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. 1032, and the second one is Wednesday evening, 6:30 p.m. 3038. Okay. Now, we already talked about doing index on vector, right? And vector is a simple data structure because it only has one dimension. Because it has only one dimension, so it only need one index, right? Sometimes you want to index data frame, right? And data frame is a two-dimensional structure, right? So as you can see here, data frame is a two-dimensional structure, right? So to index a data frame, you need two index, the raw index as well as the column index. Okay, so within the angle basket, you will have two index. The first one is the raw index. Second one is the column index. Got it? Okay. So again, let's see it in an example. It will be easier. So I already have some explanation here, okay? So it's a two-dimensional. So they take two index, okay? If we have a data frame called DF, then in order to select information from this data frame, you need row as well as column index, okay? And again, this index, row and index, it could be logical index, could be anything. But usually, when you select from data frame, the raw index is condition, right? And the column index, you index it by name, right? For example, if we have a data frame like where's the data frame? Yeah, if we have a data frame like this, right? If we define a data frame like this, okay? It's the same thing, right? If we put all of this vector into a data frame, see that previously we do not have this data frame data structure, right? We basically have separate. We have a lot of separate vectors, right? So, but there's an advantage to put this vector in a data frame, right? Right now you can within a single data structure, you have all of this information, right? This is one data structure, and we name it DF, okay? So you have the frequency that you buy from us, the height, whether this customer is male, customer's name, customer's gender, and also customer's skin color, right? Okay, so this is, so in every, as I mentioned, every row is actually one of the unit of analysis, right? Okay. In this case, it is a customer. Let's say so. Okay. Yes.
Professor, in the R code for the data frame, in no by, what does L stand for? Not the table, the R code, which is.
Okay. You mean this no, right?
No, above it, the table. Yeah, in here, in no by, there's L after every number.
Okay. Okay. It's a good question. Actually, if you only write 3, right, it will actually give you a numeric. But if you put in capital L, it will actually give you an integer. So if you want to specify integer, okay, 3 is actually, if you only write 3, it would treat that as a numeric, a natural number, right? Okay, but if you want to specify, explicitly specify that it is integer, you can put an L after that. Okay, but as I say that R is a casual language, right? So most of the time, integer can be used interchangeably with natural number, right? So nowadays, very few people are actually distinguish them. You don't need to distinguish them, right? But if you want to, you can put a capital L after the digit, okay? So this is not no by, this is the number of by, okay? Now, after we define a data frame and we want to index from them, right? So you can actually use a lot of different syntax, right? The first way is use a subset, right? And you can write the condition of subset, right? So in a subset, you are selecting the data frame. You are selecting rows, I should say that, by condition, okay? You want to select male, black male, right? In this condition, you are selecting black male, right? So from all of this table, only one of them are black male, okay? So you can use a subset to select a column, right? From here. Also, you can use a function called table, right? This table function is actually very useful, right? You apply a table to a vector. df gender is a vector, right? This is df, and df $ gender is actually this vector, right? So you apply table, then you will count every distinct, every unique value. You will count the number of appearance of each distinct value, right? So you have 2 female and 3 male, okay? So table, you will count it actually will count every different value within the vector. Okay. You can do summary, right? You can take the average of the high, right? And then, so actually, you can also use this tapply function. Okay, I would go through this function later. It's a very, very useful function. It will let you do group comparison. Okay, do group comparison. For example, right now I want to compare the average high by gender. Okay. Okay. So it can let you do group comparison. Okay. And the way it works is like you apply this function to this vector. Okay. And then compare by by this one, right? So you can in this way you can compare the average height of female and male, okay? So this t-apply is kind of very handy function. Okay? So this table and t-apply function is the most useful function in R, okay? As we will experience in our next notebook when we are playing with the comics characters data set. You'll find that they are very, very, very useful, okay? Table, t-apply, sum, and min together with indexing, okay? Only by using this simple technique, you can already find a lot of useful information from your data already, as we will experience in our next notebook, okay? So indexing data frame, as I have explained it to you, you will need. If you want to use this angle basket syntax, right, then you need a comma to separate row index and column index, okay? And usually this row index is a logical index, right? Because you select, if you want to select by some condition, isn't it? Right? And then, so in the row direction, usually you will select by condition, right? And in the column direction, usually you will select by their name, right? Your interest is the amount they buy, the height of the customer, right? You are interested in their name, right? Okay. So usually in the column side, you will select by the column name, right? And usually in the row side, you will select by a condition that you want to select, right? So in this way, you can select the one of your interest, right? The condition of your interest, and also get the attribute that you want, right? Okay, so these are some example, right? So actually, you can use this is called positional index, right? But this is very, very rarely used. Okay, in the real practice, how do you know that you want to choose 1, 2, and 2, 3, right? It's very, very rarely used. But it works, right? If you want to do that, it can work. And if you put if after the comma you left empty, right? Then it means that you want to select all of the column, right? Actually, you can also left it open, right? You left it open, it means that you want to select every row, right? Okay. So this is the way that we do it usually. I say that usually you want to, right, select by condition, right? I want to select a male that higher, that lower than 175, right? And I want to select all of the column, right? Okay? So this is the usual way. And then, see, this is another way to do that, right? I want to select a male lower than 175. But this time I only want to know their name, right? So instead of listing all of the columns, it only gives me the names. Okay? So so you can also use a subset to do selection, right? But if you use a subset, it will actually select all of the column, right? Subset can actually also select the column. If you want to only select one column, then you will select this name column, okay? So this is the example. actually, you can also do that. You can do a selection like this, right? When you do that, you basically generate a data frame like this, right? And then use this dollar sign. You can select its, right? The dollar sign can be used to select a column from a data frame, isn't it? Right? So you can also use this syntax. So syntax is very flexible, right? And actually you can, the same that in the natural language, usually we can say the same thing in many, many different ways, right? The same thing happens in programming language, right? You can actually do the same thing, right? You can actually do the same thing in many, many different ways, okay? So, and all of this is just a combination of like function call and indexing, right? So like just function call indexing, then you can do the selection you want. Now we have some quiz for you, okay? Now this time I don't want you to like, last time in this quiz I give you a mission, right? And I want you to write the code, right? I give you a mission that I want you to write the code. But this time, this time I want you to, I give you the code, right? I want you to tell me what the code means. Okay, for example, I give you this code chunk, right? And I want you to, after this punch sign, I want you to write a comment that what this code would do. Okay? For example, this code would select all of the would select the names of all of the males, right? Okay? So what does this code mean? Okay? That's what I want you to do. Okay? So your homework is actually figure out what this code really means. Okay? For example, this code is to select the name as a male, right? Is to print out the name of male. Now this code actually generates this answer, okay? But what this answer means, okay? That's what I want you to say. And you actually can read into this code, right? And use the comment after the punch sign, right? Okay. So what I want you to do is actually finish this quiz, okay? And then knit. Okay, you go to your the RStudio, right? And you for the first quiz, you actually complete the code, right? And for the second quiz, I want you to like write a comment, okay? And after you finish that, you press the knit again, okay? And remember one thing, right? One thing is very important, okay? I want you to change this to your own name, right? Okay? Okay? The third thing you need to do is like you change this to your own name, right? And then you can like after you knit, you will generate actually after you knit these things, you will generate a file called Unit2.3 index.html, right? So, but after you finish your homework, I want you to change change the name of the HTML file. Okay. Here is your student ID. Okay. You get me? After you knit the file, you have Unit2 something HTML, right? I want you to change the file name with your student and student ID and then upload it to this folder. Okay? Question? So far, it's not that difficult, right? We have up to this point, we learned some basic data type, basic data structures, right? Of our language, and we also learn how to do indexing, right? How to apply function, right? And we also learned a few useful functions like sum for summation, like min for average, right? We also learned a function called table to count the unique value, right? And we also learned the t-apply function that help us to do categorical statistics. I can say that. Okay. And actually that would be good enough for us to do a lot of funny things, interesting things, I should say. Okay? So I think we don't have time to finish Notebook 3, but let's get started to have some fun. Okay? Okay. So this week I think we cannot finish this one, right? So this week's homework will be a lot easier than last week. Okay? So you only like do this, right? And but by the way, during the break, someone just told me that you want to use if after the data chem section, data chem has a lot of courses, right? A lot of classes. If you are interested in like playing with more data chem courses, I told you that I would add you into a data chem classroom, so that in this semester all of the courses is free, right? So remember to give your data chem account to TA, okay? After the class, right? Give your data chem account to TA, and TA would add you into the data chem classroom, and then you are free to take all of the courses in data chem in this semester, okay? Okay, now that it's like 11:40, let's get started with the comic data set and try to have some fun with what we have learned so far, okay? Now it would be like 3C, right? So you go to 3C, and then HTML file. If you want to open the HTML file, the easiest way is like push the HTML and say view in web browser, okay? If you want to open the IMD file, you click it.
We use the toilet. Can I come back in 5-10 minutes?
No problem. So if you click it, the RMD file will open here, right? If you click the HTML file, it asks you to like open in editor or view in web browser, right? Okay. Now we are doing 3C, right? So you can use 2C. So we are doing Unit2.3 HTML. Click it and view in web browser. Then you will see the notebook here. This notebook is very lengthy, so I think we cannot finish it today. Okay, but we will get started. Okay, so this is the comic data set. Okay, it is actually an abridged data set of comic character. Okay, this is the data source. Okay, So first of all, we need to read in the data set, right? Okay. When we sometimes the data is actually the data you cannot. Sometimes you cannot define your data structure the way that we have done, right? You need to like, but sometimes the data is already exist, right? So you only need to like read in the existing data into the R environment, right? So that is usually the first thing that we want to do when we do the data analysis, right? Sometimes already collect the data. It might put the data in the Excel file. It might put the data in the database, right? It might put the data in the text file, something like that, right? But in R, we have a lot of package, so we can read data in many, many different formats. Whatever format you name it, we have a way to read it into the R environment, right? So that is the first thing we want to do, okay? Let's do that. So first of all, you go to this RMD, right? 2C comments. Point RMD. The first thing you want to set the format, right? I told you that this one is to set the format, so press it. Okay, so it should run through the code chunk silently. You need to do this, right? Do this, okay. And then the first thing is we want to read in the file, right? The file is already here, okay. You see that? In the data folder, there is a comics1 CSV, right? Which is a text file. And in this text file, they are the data that we need, okay? So as long as you know the file name of the data, right? There's one more thing you need to do, right? Right now you are here, right? You are here, right? I mean, right now you are in the 02 R basics folder. So first of all, you need to set this folder as your working directory. Okay? I mean, in your RStudio, there is a gear here, right? So you push it, and you drop down, and then you want to set this directory as your working directory. Okay? Okay? Before you can read the data, you need to know that where the working directory is. Okay? So now they know that this is the working directory, right? And now you have the file name, right? Okay? Of the data file. Okay? Because the data file is under the data subfolder, right? Okay? So you give the path name from the working directory to the data file. Okay? And then you use this command, read CSV. Let's see what will happen. Okay? After you execute this, you will see a data frame here. Okay? The data frame is named D. The D is what I give it, right? Just you can give it whatever name you want, but I just happen to. This is my own habit, right? That's named by D. Okay. So if you want to see the data frame, okay, you can actually push this bottom, okay, and you will drop down, right? So here you can see that this data frame has so many columns, okay, and this is the column type, okay. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It has 7 character columns, and you have 2 integer columns. See that? Okay, and the length, I mean, the number of row in this data frame is like 7,250, right? So in this table, there are 7,250 comic character, Okay, and for each character we have 9 attributes. For example, the publisher, you have DC, we have Marvel, right? Name, for example, Batman, right? The character name, right? The align. Now, the align of character could be 3 things. They could be good guys, bad guys, and also they could be neutral. Okay, and then their eye color, their hair color. Okay, their eye color, their hair color. Okay, and then their sex. Okay, whether they are still alive. Okay, at the end of the story, right? Whether they are still alive. And these are all character. These are all character columns. Okay. Actually, some of them are categorical, right? By their nature. For example, like gender, right? By whether they are still alive. The eye color, hair color, right? So most of these characters, they are actually categorical. But in R, I told you that R is a very casual language, right? So they basically you can use categorical and character data type interchangeably. Most of the time you do not have problem, right? So when you go to the praise, that you need to distinguish character from categorical, from factors, I will tell you. Okay. So far, just think that character can be used interchangeably with factor without problem. And we have 2 integer. This is the appearance, which means that Batman is a very popular character, right? So it appear like to the point of they gather the data. It appear like 3,000 times, right? The second man, and then this is the first year that Batman appeared in the comics. So Batman is a very, very old character. I mean, it appeared before World War II, right? Okay, so it's a very, very old character, right? Do you know when Superman first appeared in this in the comics? Okay, so if you want to do that, what can you do?
You can open the file and look it up.
You can actually click here.
Yeah.
Okay, click here.
The search bar.
Okay, you can actually click here, right? And you actually can search for Superman, right, in the name, right? So it happens to be the second one, right? Isn't it? And you actually can see that Superman actually first appeared at 1986. So it's a very, very young, it's a very, very new character, isn't it? But it already appeared like how many times? About 25,000 times. Okay. So this is a quite interesting data set, right? So we can play with.
The appearances, they were in minutes.
Sorry?
Were the appearances, were they in minutes? Like how many minutes they were on the screen?
No. It's in comic books, right? So the number of appearance like appear in the title, right? This is not movie yet. Okay. Good. Okay, so see, data frame is very useful, right? So when you can see data in this way, it's very, very convenient, actually. Now, if you want to, like, first thing, we get the data, we want to examine the data, right? Okay, so we want to see the number of rows. You can use this command, okay? This function will give us the number of rows in a data frame. Okay? Actually, you don't need to do that. You can read it here directly, isn't it? Okay? So in case you want to know how many rows the data frame, how many columns data frame has, right? If you want to see the this is actually the same information here, right? Okay? So actually in the RStudio environment, you don't really need to use this command to see to examine the structure of a data frame, right? You can see the structure of data frame by clicking here. You can see the content of a data frame by click here. Okay, you click here, you'll see the table. Okay. So there are a few things that we can play. Okay. So let's send some more gifts to everybody, right? So what is the name of the data frame? Raise your hand. Can I have the the word? What is the name of our data frame, right? D, right? It's the name. It's very simple, right? So in this data name, what is the targeted subject for analysis? What are we? In this data frame, every row means something, right? And that is the thing that we want to analyze, right? So what is the subject?
Animated characters information.
Animate? No, it should be comics. It's not animated yet, okay? So it's the comic character, right? As I told you that when you have a data frame, first thing you want to know is what is a row represent. So a row represents a comic character, isn't it? Right? So you can have just give it to me. So maybe I just I don't want to throw it to you. Okay. So just take it by yourself. Okay. You can take one of this and one of this. I promise you that I will have a better a word, okay, than this one next time, okay. Now, what is the next question? What are the attributes of interest? I mean, this is the subject of interest, right? And for each of the subject, we know some of their attributes. So what are the attributes of our interest? Where can we see this information?
The first column of the data frame.
The
first column of the data frame.
No. It's not the first column, right? In this data frame, we have a lot of attributes, right? Right? And all of these attributes are of our interest, isn't it? Right? So we want to analyze comic characters, but what are we going to analyze about them, right? And that is where can we find this information from the data frame? Where is the information? Right?
The first row of the table.
The first row of the table?
Yeah,
Is that right?
top.
You mean this one?
Yeah.
The first row. This is not actually the first row of the table.
The header.
Right. The header of the table, right? It's the header of the table, right? The first row is this one, right? And this is actually the header of the table, okay? And you can also see this information here, right? As I told you. Okay, so these are the attributes that we are interested, right? Now the third. And how many numbers of numerical integer columns do we have?
2.
Yes, correct. The answer is 2. So take your prize by yourself, okay? Or you can take it later, right? So you don't have to like run it. Then how many character columns do we have?
One.
1?
7.
Yeah, it's 7, right? You can count it here, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 7 character column. Okay. Now this one is a little bit difficult, right? So how many columns should be categorical? We have these columns, right? So which of the 7 character columns should be categorical? 6. So which one is not?
The name is not.
Yeah, 6, right? Everyone is categorical, right? Publisher only have 2 values, right? Align only have 3. Eye colors, yeah, there are a lot of eye color, but there are so many, right? Hair, sex, alive, right? So only name is a character. The rest of them, if you are using the other programming language, you will be forced to convert them into factor, okay? To declare them as categorical. But in R, usually we don't need to do that, okay? So, as I say here, that what we mean by categorical is that the data, the information itself, right, is not actually a character in its nature, right? It is the category in its nature. Now, if that is a category, then that is a categorical variable or a categorical column, right? And in R, we kind of like use categorical and characteristic like interchangeably. Okay, shouldn't be a problem. Okay. Okay. It's already 12 o'clock. Okay. So I will stop here, and this week's homework assignment is very, very easy, right? So after a very heavy week, right? This week we have a very easy homework assignment, right? So I would suggest you to like, besides the homework assignments, you can follow the logic of Unit2.3, right? You have the code, right? You have the data, right? So follow the logic of Unit2.3, and so we can do it quicker next week, right? What I plan is next week I would like, at the end of the Unit2C, there are some group competition, okay? So I need to divide you into groups, okay? So since not many of you has the experience in writing R, right? Everyone is the beginner, so I don't want to. Usually, I will use I will try to balance the the capability in each of the groups, but since everyone is like kind of like a new beginner, I will let you do the group by yourself, okay? So can we like do the grouping today. So, or can we say that we want to finish the grouping by our next class? Okay. So and at this point we actually only have we have 12 students here, and today we have 3 people is having sick leave. It's very terrible, right? So it's 1/5 of our students are in sick leave today. So for this so I would say that let's have a team of 4, okay? Let's have a team of 4, okay? So, and I will let you guys do, right? Do the taming by yourself, okay? So, or you prefer to do it next week when we start the class?
Professor, can we get a Google sheet with 4 columns so that we can just put 3 columns so that we can just put our names in before next class begins? It can be circulated on the Facebook group, so by then we will have.
You mean that we have Google Sheet,
Yes.
so you can actually like go to the Google Sheet to register your name and your group number.
That everybody will know who is in what.
Yeah. That is a good idea. Okay, so TA, can we like create a Google Sheet so that they can do the grouping by themselves. So every group can have no more than 4 person. Okay, no more than 4. Okay, yeah.
Can we also attach our data camp account in the Google Sheet so that it's accessible for the TA?
Good. That is another good idea, right? Okay, so you got the point, right? So you announce a Google Sheet which is editable by everyone, right? So everyone, please, like, first of all, list your group number, your name, your student ID, and your data camp account. So TA can add you into the data camp account. Okay? Is that good for you? Okay, so I'll let you do the grouping by yourself. Okay? And like, so by the end of the next class, if you still do not have a group, then I will do the assignment for you, for the rest of you. How about that? Okay? So you have an idea that that someone you want to group with, just like write in, right? If not, don't worry. By the starting of the next next class, we will do the grouping for you. Okay? Good. Okay, so that's for this week. Any question? Okay, so if you have question or anything, you can come to the collaborative learning session, or you can ping us in the Facebook, okay, in the Facebook discussion group. Okay. Now that's all for today. Class dismissed.